now to the real Idon.
Idon of the Idon.
Yes. What are the grounds for divorce?
Okay, so when we are talking about divorce rights, it is very important for me to state that, you know, this African magic and Nollywood idea of marriage, of divorce, we really need to tackle it. You know, you hear people come to you and tell you, please, I need you to help me sign a letter of divorce. I am not doing again that I can give to my husband or my wife. They come to you, I'm like, give you a letter. You don't do letter, right? So when it comes to divorce is a kind of civil proceedings, right? Whereby you go to court, you file process, you effect service on the person that you want to take to court, right? So it's more like a normal civil proceedings.
They don't know.
It's not letter.
They don't know.
Please, it is not letter. It is a proper court matter.
Deola, that reminds me of one of my clients.
Yeah.
That was late last year. My client contacted me for a divorce proceedings, and we started the proceeding, and we prepared the petition, and it was filed in court, served on the respondent.
Yeah.
Do you know that the respondent called me on phone and was blasting me that what kind of a lawyer are you? Are you not supposed to prepare a letter of divorce for my so-called husband for me to sign? Now you are preparing nonsense and serving me. What do you mean? You better go back to law school. I was dumbfounded, like, really?
Oh wow, Nollywood, you've done damage to people, please. There is nothing, absolutely nothing like that. Letter of divorce. There is nothing like that, right? So it's a proper civil proceeding. So probably what she's expecting, right, for her to sign is after she has been served with the petition, there is a place whereby you will acknowledge receipt of that petition. There is nothing like letter of divorce. Please scrap that from your memory. Nothing like that.
And I think we need to advise our Nollywood. They actually need to do more.
Exactly.
Because whatever you put out there
is what people believe. Yes. I mean, this thing is not actually hard, because if you are talking about you producing movie and you are making it look as though it's real, you should make your findings. I mean, we have lawyers around that you can even make inquiry from, like, how do you guys do these things? Just put us through so that you pass the proper message across. Please, there's nothing like letter of divorce.
It's
a proper civil proceeding.
I think my mind is now at rest. Like, I've been able to pass my message.
Oh wow, my dear.
If that woman is watching me, I beg, I was properly trained at the Nigerian Law School, Lagos campus for that matter. And I've been qualified for the past 10 years.
Please.
10 years post-course. So I'm a qualified lawyer. There is nothing like divorce letter. So let's get that straight.
Please, let's get that.
What are the grounds for divorce, my sister?
So we have basically, right, for you to actually come to court to say that you want to divorce, you must be sure that, or you must be able to prove to the court that the marriage has actually broken down, like it has scattered irretrievably, that there is nothing you can do about it.
Yes, so
right. So on that ground, there are other steps, like you must be able to prove to court before court would definitely grant.
So it's not just a walk in the park.
No,
like if you want to just file for divorce.
No, you can't just go to the court like, I want a divorce. So this guy, anytime I call him, he does not answer my call, or he's always busy with his work. You can't use that as a ground. No. So you must be able to prove to the court that yes, the marriage has broken down irretrievably. And one of the things you can prove before the court is if your partner has consistently deprived you of sexual intercourse.
Okay.
So we are trying to break it down again. Yeah, sexual intercourse. He has consistently deprived you of that. Although there is a term we use for it, but just to make it quite simple for all of us to, understand it, right? When he refuses to consummate the marriage. So when we say he refuses to consummate the marriage, that means he refused to have sexual intercourse, or she refused to have sexual intercourse with you. So it's a very important thing. I mean, what's the essence of marriage where there is no sex? Like, What's the essence?
There's no essence.
So
There's
it
no
is very,
point.
it is very important. So if your spouse deprives you of sexual intercourse for a consistent period, let's say for 1 year. I mean, there was a particular client that came to me and said the husband refused to touch her for over 2 years. The husband took a room and left her in another room for 2 solid years.
And she was there.
She was begging, and I mean, you know, all the tactics that a woman will want to use, like a guy, I'm attractive now, come now, but he refused.
Wow.
So that's a ground for you to bring a divorce, right?
Okay.
So aside that, adultery also is a ground for you to file a divorce. However, adultery is actually very sensitive in the sense that you must be able to bring, you must be able to prove it, bring solid evidence before the courts to show that yes, this man actually committed the adultery. Although it's quite difficult, because I mean, to say you catch someone red-handed, like, I'm seeing both of you doing things, right? I caught you red in the act. It's very difficult, right? But then, due to several cases that has been handled, right, you can now use circumstantial happenings, yes, to show as proof to court that something is going wrong, or this man is definitely cheating on me. For example, you heard that your husband has another child outside. It's a plain, you don't even need a soothsayer to tell you that he was committing adultery, because before you can have another child with another woman, that means you slept with the woman. So it's definitely adultery. So you can use that as a circumstantial evidence to show to the court that while we were married, he impregnated someone, and this is a result of the affair he has with the other woman. So you can use that as proof. There's sexual disease as well, a venereal disease, whereby if you contacted a disease and you are able to prove that you actually contacted it from your spouse. You know, there are some diseases that you think, is a sexually transmitted disease, but you can actually get that through the use of toilets, do you understand, or improper hygiene, right? But for you to prove that because I have this kind of disease, you must be able to prove it that yes, you contacted it from your partner, right? So there are so many things that you need to prove before the courts to show that yes, that the adultery, the man committed it. And there's another example I'd like to cite. Okay, I think there's a particular case whereby the husband just came home one day and he found his wife and another man in the room. The wife was half naked with wrapper on her chest, and the man, his zip was down, and they were both still sweating. Please tell me, what would you think when you get inside? Were they praying together?
I don't know.
So it's a circumstantial evidence, like something went down. A man and a woman in a room, and you guys are both sweating, and you are half naked. His zipper is down. So it's more than enough to prove to the court. Like, there are so many things you can put together to actually prove adultery. And one very special thing about adultery is that for adultery, you'll be able to get damages from the person your spouse cheated on you with. So that is the only ground that once you bring it to court, after the dissolution of the marriage, you'll be able to cash out. Like, hey, for all the emotional damages you've caused me, you'll be able to get something from it. And this is also a one that you must add the person that your spouse cheated on you with. You must add the person's name to the suit. You know, ideally in a petition is between the husband and the wife. But when it comes to adultery, aside the husband and the wife, the person you said your husband committed adultery with will be added.
That will be adultery or what?
The second respondent, not adultery. We did the second respondent. Only adultery.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, please. So the next one is the what is it called? The party is unreasonably expected to live with the other person.
Okay.
You know, we are still talking about the grounds.
Yes.
So the first one is that he refused to consummate the marriage, no sex. The second one is adultery. And the third one, you are not reasonably expected
To stay
with the person. Like, in a normal man's mind,
no, you have
they
tried.
will tell you that, don't go there. Leave that home. Now. So it is not really casted on stone, although some were listed out in the act. And number one is bestiality or sodomy, whereby the man, you realize that the man sleeps with animal. I mean, who does that? Do you understand? So if you should tell anyone, they'll be like, pack your load and leave that place. And the second one is domestic violence. If the man consistently violates you, beats you up, I mean, black, blue, black, before you lose your life, please run for your life. Do you understand? Perpetual drunkenness, if the person has been sentenced to court or found guilty of murder, found guilty of rape, you know, it's not limited to that, but anything you just feel when you bring to the court will be able to see reason with you that no, you are reasonably not expected to live with that person. So let's take, for example, as a man, you are married to a woman, right? And you now discovered that this your wife is practicing lesbianism, right? And you have children, right? And you know, as your culture, your belief system, it does not even tally with that at all. Coupled with the fact you remember that the law of Nigeria is against anything same sex.
Totally.
So you're not reasonably expected to live with that person because actually what she is doing is an offense in the first place. 14 years imprisonment, don't forget, right? So those are the things you'll be able to look into to say that, okay, definitely, you are not reasonably expected to live with this man. But if you now come to court to say, oh, because my husband does not cook for me, I want to divorce him. Please, what happened to you cooking yourself? Or what happened to you getting a chef to cook for you? Or a house help that will help you out? Do you understand? So what you must bring before the court must be something serious that court will say that yes, you are not reasonably expected to live with the person. I've listed like 3 grounds already. We said that number 1, non-consummation of the marriage. Number 2, adultery. And number 3 is that the person is not reasonably expected to live with the other party. And the 4th ground is that the person has deserted his or her spouse for close to more than a year, right? So the desertion, you can't just come like, oh, this person deserted me. There are some grounds under that desertion that you must prove, right? You must show that you didn't give your consent. And the person, it was without any cause. Like, you had no reason, he didn't tell you any reason. The person just disappeared. Do you understand?
House.
No just cause. Do you understand? So for you to be able to prove desertion, which if you want to prove desertion, you must be able to prove to the court that there was no just cause and you didn't give your consent for the person to leave. And the 3rd and the 5th one, which I can say the 5th and 6th, is that continuous. You guys have lived continuously for over 2 years or 3 years. Both of you don't live together again. He has moved out or she has moved out of your house consistently for 2 years, 3 years. So on this ground, shikena, you can bring it before the court and tell the court, see, I can't wait again. This guy, I'm not doing it again. And definitely the court will go through it and see, okay, what are the things you've brought before the court. So please don't forget, before you can bring a divorce matter before the court, your marriage must be up to 2 years.
Wow.
However, to every general rule, there's an exception.
Okay.
So there's an exception to that 2-year rules, right? Because the court will not open his eyes for someone to die, all in the name of you are trying to wait till when the marriage is 2 years. Do you understand? So one of the grounds, one of the exception is if it's going to bring hardship to you, the court will definitely look into it. So what are the hardship we're looking at? Maybe the person beats you all the time. Like before your marriage is even 1 year, even the night of your honeymoon, you started chopping slap, right, left, center. Do you understand? So the court will not close his eyes to it. So you have to seek the leave of court in order for you to file a divorce for a marriage that is not up to 2 years. Do you understand? So the court will look into the hardship that is meted on the party that is bringing the application or any form of deprivation on the part of the respondent.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Deola, for coming on this show.
I'm so grateful. Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having me.
your coming. And
thank you for having
we
me.
hope that when next we call on you,
yes,
you will
please.
definitely answer
of course
us.
I will, because we are still going to talk about custody, you know.
Wow.
Because it's very important.
We would love to
it's
have
very
you on
important.
that. We would love to have you
Yes,
on that.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
From the crew of Your Lawyer's Corner with Mo, we have this token just to appreciate you for coming.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Your Lawyer's Corner with Mo. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you for inviting me. It's been an exciting and quite educative moment. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Your Lawyer's Corner with Mo. And like I always say, don't just get mad, get a lawyer. Do have a wonderful day. Bye.